Hi everyone, MattHDGamer again here. What I'm going to do today is do my predictions starting from the bottom upwards where I see the new Premiership to end at the end of the season. I've obviously got the three new teams in there, Huddersfield, Brighton and Newcastle, so it's going to be interesting where they end up at the end of the season. Let's see what I think they will do. So, this is where the supporters start to get angry at me now, but starting in 20th place, my view is that Huddersfield, unfortunately, I'd love to see the Minnows do well, but I can't see them really doing that well this season. In my view, they're going to be 20th. Similar to Bournemouth, though, a year or so ago, they've exceeded expectations, so the hope is that Huddersfield will do the same. But looking at the players they brought in a few players from, there's one from Porto, there's Aaron Moy, whoever you pronounce him, from Man City, but I can't see them having enough quality to do to stay up for a season at least. So up to 19th, my view is that they performed brilliantly to get ahead and come second in the Championship last year against all expectations, but I can't see them performing that well in the Premiership. My view is that Brighton and Hove Albion, if you want the full name, aren't going to really cut it for the Premier League. So unfortunately, I can see them coming in 19th position. Now here's one that I've deliberated long and hard on. They really did well last season. In fact, they beat my team Liverpool 4-3, which I still can't believe. But I can't see them maintaining that level. So unfortunately, even though they've got a new goalie, Begovic from Chelsea, they've got Defoe brought in, who will always score the goals, but I don't think they've got enough quality and depth to warrant anything more than 18th this season. Like to be proved wrong. Lovely family club, I think the manager's brilliant, but can't see them doing a great deal this season. 17th position. Once again, I think they did well last season, although they tailed off towards the end, and I think, how many managers did they go through, Matt? Watford. I can see them finishing 17th this season. Yeah, they went through a few. Yeah. Okay. Well, they brought Marco Silva in, the Portuguese coach, who I see, he's done well abroad. Let's hope he can do something more for Watford, but I can't see them doing great things there. And I don't think, once again, they brought anyone of any great name in there. They got Tom Cleverley, but he didn't do much at Everton, did he? In and out at United. Will Hughes, they brought in from Derby. Everyone's rated him, but no one dived in over the last few years to get him. So, yeah, he's moved to Watford, so he could do something, but I don't think they've got enough in depth. 16th position is Burnley. They so much relied on the home form all season. I think towards the end of the season, they'd only got 1 point away from home. They didn't really much improve on that. If that continues, I think they're really going to struggle this season. They brought a bit of experience in. Jonathan Walters from Stoke, Matt, yeah? Yeah. Could be good. Jack Cork from Swansea. Phil Bardsley, another one from Stoke. But they've also lost their great central defender, Michael Keane, gone to Everton for 30 million. John Flanagan's come to the end of his loan from Liverpool. Didn't do a lot there, but I don't think they've got the strength in depth once again. So I can see them finishing 16th, but once again, hopefully, they won't be relegated. 15th position. They had a terrible start to the season last season, but managed to wing it in the last 3 games. And I see Swansea still being in the lower half, but hopefully, always had a soft spot for Swansea since they took half the Liverpool team in the early 70s. But I think they'll end up around about 15th, especially if they lose. Is Sigurdsson possibly going to Everton?
Yeah, 50 million.
Yeah, if he does go, then I think they're going to hit trouble there. Now, this is the one which no one, I suggest, has any idea. I think if you tossed a coin, you come up with a different answer from everyone. And it's Newcastle. Fantastic support, home and away. Fairly good home form, but they do lose to some of the minnows now and then. They haven't done great in the market, but they've got a cracking manager. If he stays there, Rafa Benitez, great manager, but he's a very proud man. If he doesn't get the backing, and if he doesn't get some better players coming in, I can see him not lasting the season. And with that, I can see Newcastle struggling. But with that support behind them, They've also got Manquillo, who used to be at Liverpool, on loan. They brought him in, but no other great names I can see there at all. I think I see them coming in round about 14th position, which I think it'll be a good season if they do. West Brom, next, 13th position. Good season for them last year. Tony Pulis has done well. Is he still there, Tony Pulis? Yeah. He is, isn't he? Yeah. Had lots of teams, but not my favourite manager. I find he's a bit too defensive oriented, but he gets a job done. He does, doesn't he? He gets a job done, but as a person, I just can't take to him. Yeah, but that's just my decision. One big buy they've got in, who slipped under the radar for me because I've always admired him, but he had crippling injuries, is Jay Rodriguez. Bought him in from Southampton, Matt. I really rate him. If he can go a season without getting a knock, I think he could do really well for them. And they've lost Darren Fletcher. He's gone to Stoke. He was always a mainstay of the midfield. He was one of their top point scorers, I think, in Fantasy League last season. Yeah, doesn't score many, but always has a good game. So it's going to be interesting to see where they finish. I've got them at 13th. 12th position. Films made about them, you name it, you wouldn't write the story. But a rubbish season last season, which I think I expected, and I don't see them doing much better this season, and that's Leicester. They haven't got any great buys in. They've been fairly static in the market. I think the manager will probably stay, but is it Shakespeare, the manager? Yeah, I think he'll probably stay. But I think they've lost a bit of heart last season. They didn't have the team spirit that they had before. Mahrez could go. There's talk of him going to Italy, isn't there? Yeah. Vardy is still there. I think he likes a life there, so good luck to him. But I can't see them coming any higher than 12th position. 11th position, mainly because they tend to end up here every season. But it's round about there will be Stoke. That's my prediction. Mark Hughes has been there now for probably 5-6 years, is it, Matt? Yeah. Keeps them up, keeps them going, keeps them mid-table. Awful start last season. As I say earlier with West Brom, they brought Darren Fletcher in, a positive for Stoke. Not any other great names there. They've got Kurt Zouma in from Chelsea, but they've also lost a lot of players there. But the big loss I see is Arnautovic to West Ham. In my view, he was, with Shaqiri, was probably one of the best players last season. So Stoke, in my view, 11th position. And one that I envisage doing very well this season with a new manager, Frank de Boer, is Crystal Palace, and I can see them even finishing a little bit higher. They had a good tail end to the season. You never know what they're going to do. They've got great home support. I love that corner of the ground where they really give it the sort of European flag waving detail. It's great to watch. Great fans. Could be a great team. Zaha had a good season. They brought Loftus-Cheek in as well. If they get Sacco, maybe, but I don't think that's money well spent in my view. So, where are we up to now? We're up to 9th position. Team that always performs better than you expect them to. That's partly because of the manager, partly because of the team spirit, but the main reason is the youth system they've got. The amount of players that they've passed on, mainly to my club, Liverpool, is phenomenal. And we might even be going after Van Dijk, mightn't we, Matt? There's a possibility we'll be getting him as well. But new manager, Mauricio Pellegrino, and it's Southampton. They've not done any great deals. They've only got a fella from Lech Poznan who's come in. And Jay Rodriguez out. They obviously know something about him there. Maybe they think his injuries are too much to keep him, but I rated him. It's going to be interesting because it's difficult to do these predictions and we haven't at the end of the transfer window yet. But you can only go with what you know. So 9th position, Southampton. 8th position, see them having a good season, and there could be more. I didn't realise that these are one of the richest clubs in the top 20 in the world, is West Ham. Yeah. Is it 60,000+ they can get at that City of London stadium. But they don't get the atmosphere they used to at the Upton Park, and that has been a bit of a debilitating for them. They brought in Zabaleta, a lot of experience, also Joe Hart on loan. Arnautovic is a cracking player. I would have liked Liverpool to have been interested in him, but... And the big one as well, Hernandez didn't do a great deal at United, but has been excellent at Leverkusen. Or Leverkusen, whichever way you want to say it. First mispronunciation of the day. They haven't lost too many players, but I think they've strengthened the squad. And I think They could be 8th, but could sneak into the top 7. Who knows? Moving on to 7 and upwards now. It's exactly the same as last season in my view, but not the positions may vary, but I can see the same 7 teams ending up in the top 7. My 7th team, and this will go against all my locals who support Everton here, is obviously Everton, with, I think the manager's great, Koeman, very understated, gets on with the job, and they've bought very, very well, and they've spent a hell of a lot more than they've ever spent before, and they've bought very, very wisely. Jordan Pickford, they need a new goalie. They've got a class act there in Pickford. Very young, but he's got the skills there already. They've also gone for Michael Keane, which he's got a fee rising to 30 million, moved in from Burnley. Wayne Rooney, obviously back, it's going to be very interesting to see how many games he gets, but even used sparingly, he can come on and influence a game. Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting season for Everton. Totally depends on how the other teams do, but they've got the strongest squad I've seen them had in years. But the biggest loss is the obvious loss of Lukaku, gone to United. I don't know who's going to score the goals there, especially Barkley possibly going. There was an interview last night, Matt, don't know if you saw it. Ronald Koeman saying, yeah, 100% he's going now. Whether that's mind games, we don't know. But who's going to buy him? That's the next question. But let's wait and see in the next few weeks. 6th position? I hope so. Man United.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see that. Them staying the same, yes, staying the same as last season. It's not so much who they've bought and who they haven't bought. It's looking at the teams round them and above them in the top 5. In my view, they've got stronger and better squads. And Mourinho didn't do a lot last season. I really hope he doesn't do a lot this season, but who knows. United, yeah, they've got a few good buys in there. Not a lot so far. Lindelof from Benfica, obviously Lukaku. But I can see Lukaku, he's done it at Everton a few times, hasn't he? He's had quite a few barren spells, hasn't he? Yeah, he steers clear from injury mostly, but I just can't see it. And they've lost the captain to Everton. Okay, it was his decision to go back, taking his pyjamas with him, yeah. So, my view, and this will go against the grain because I know there'll be a lot of United supporters up in arms, I can only see them getting round about 6th this season. Moving on from one controversial comment to another, the 5th place, you don't know any of these, don't you? So you're going to think it's controversial, is Tottenham. Now, I think they have overperformed against expectations in the last 2 years. Cracking manager, but they haven't bought a single player yet. They've got to get some new players in. You've lost the likes of Kyle Walker. Okay, they've got is a Trippier at left, right back. They obviously rate him almost on a par with Walker, I guess, to let Walker go. But they've just not brought anyone in. Now, if they get injuries to their key players, and they are great players, don't get me wrong, but they struggled a little bit last season. They managed to keep 2nd place because they had a great end of the season. But when Kane got injured during the middle of the season, they struggled for about 5 or 6 weeks. If that happens again, unless they get another top-class forward in, then I think they will struggle. There's only Son who will get the other goals, and Eriksen from free kicks and whatever else, dead ball situations. Dele Alli, yeah, late into the box, but they need to buy. So based on what I know now, I see them as 5th. Now we're moving up to the European Champions League places. What do you think? Thinking? 4th position, one up from last season, for me, is going to be Arsenal. They bought Lacazette in, great buy, but if they lose Sanchez, they really will struggle this season. Matt, what's your views on Sanchez? Do you think he may be going?
Yeah, he'll go to Man City, I think. Do
you think, oh God, if they get him that even, okay, that'll bolster what I'll talk about in a minute anyway. Yeah, so they've only brought in Lacazette, and here's another one to pronounce, Kolasinac, or Kolasinac. What is it? Any combination of those two? From Schalke. What? Kolasinac. Okay, Kolasinac. I'll go with that one then. From Schalke 04. Yeah. Don't really know much about him. Good player?
Yeah, good left back.
Why have they got him on a free then?
Good going forward, good going back.
Okay, okay. So yeah, good left back. They did need to strengthen the defence a bit. They had a lot of injuries last season, but if they can get a bit more strength in depth. But similar to Tottenham, they've only brought 2 players in. So let's wait and see. I'm not going to say Liverpool are going to be champions. I see them 1 place higher than last season, 3rd place. They brought in a cracking buy, Mohamed Salah from Roma. They've got Solanke on a free from Chelsea, and I can't understand why they've let him go to another top 4 team, hopefully top 4 team. He's got great potential. And they've brought Andrew Robertson for the problem left back position. Not that Milner had a bad season, but there's no backup there whatsoever. So I think they've bought wisely, but they still need some new players. And if we get Keita, I think everyone needs a player like Keita or Kante in the teams now. Everton have got Idrissa Gueye as well. They really are going down that route. You do need someone like that. If they get him, then I can see us doing very, very well next season. And especially if Sturridge starts to produce again. 2nd place, it's one of the big 2, isn't it? And I'm going for Chelsea. I originally thought that they'd win it again. I think Kante is a fantastic manager. They've brought in some great players. Morata, or Ruata as I call him on my first ever video. Bakayoko from Monaco. Rudiger from Roma. Willy Caballero just as backup, I would suggest, as a 2nd goalkeeper. So, and they've let so many players go. They've let about 20 players go there. Loftus-Cheek as well, who was a rising star, but obviously not doing well enough. They've kept hold of Hazard at the moment. They're keeping hold of Costa. They've got him, looks like he's going to stay. Very strong, with the addition of Morata as well as keeping hold of Costa. They've got a cracking forward line there. I think because of who they've bought, I foresee Man City winning the league this season. But I can't see anyone getting above them with the buys they've come up with. They've come up with 2 Monaco players, 2 that I rated the best that Monaco have got. Mendy, left back, the best left back I've seen for a long time. More like a left winger. When he gets in the box, his final ball is superb. They've also got Silva, midfielder from Monaco. I think it was 10 assists, 10 goals last season. Ederson from Benfica, and obviously they've got Kyle Walker from Tottenham. I'm very surprised Tottenham let him go to Man City, but they obviously got the money for him, which I hope they use a bit later. They've let go a lot of the whole defence is basically gone, hasn't it? Yeah. Zabaleta's gone, Kolarov's gone, I won't go through them all, but that is what needed replacing, and they've done it. And I think I can't see anyone coming over and above Man City. I think it'll still be close, they'll still have the odd slip up, but that's my view. So if you've got any further views on that, then let me know. Give us a like if you liked what I've done. You don't have to like it. If you don't have to disagree to dislike it. A lot of controversial choices. I do see Bournemouth struggling this season. I can't see United getting into the top 5. That'll be interesting. But let's wait and see. And we've got Matts to come as well soon. So thanks again. I'd love 10,000 likes and see you soon.